when initiating, being like, "Who's coming?" and then he's not here.
It's fine. It's fine. Hello, everybody. We are here. You can wait for people to tune in and trickle in. Oh, there he is.
There we go. All right. Well, here we go.
Charging
Hello.
in like Bill Murray in Space Jam.
Is he just a black screen for you too, or is it because my internet's garbage?
I
No,
see
him.
myself.
I see Tim.
You see him?
I see
No,
you, Jack.
I see you.
Both in a
Yes.
physical and spiritual sense. I see.
Tim, you are the king of, hey, are you guys ready? And then being late.
I was wrapping up the new Call of Duty, man. I just wrapped up the campaign.
Oh,
There you go.
I was surprised that I was
it
the first one to join the room, actually. I was running late.
And then you sent the link?
Yeah, I resent the link. I didn't see him send it. I saw him say the room was open.
Oh.
So I just assumed he wanted you to join. He was in a hurry. So I just sent it. I was like, all right, here.
I sent the link and I went to the bathroom.
Usual standard
Came
procedure.
back. Exactly. I don't know. It's fine. We're here.
Well, we got the big three today. When's the last time we had all three?
A
week ago?
It's been a little bit.
Last Wednesday?
I've had a lot of conflicts recently.
Well, it's good. That means you're busy.
Yeah, I mean, yes and no. It's just like the Monday night games where I'm at the liquor store, which isn't going to happen anymore. Minor life update. I quit my full-time job today.
All right. Did you
Nice.
light the store on fire?
Oh,
I know
God,
it's
no.
a family thing. I'm just teasing.
Oh, no. The liquor store is not my full-time job.
Oh.
The theater.
The theater is. I quit
Theater.
that.
Okay,
My
well,
2
there you
weeks.
go.
My last day is going to be Black Friday on the 25th, but I have to tell them I actually am going to leave a little early that day because I'm seeing Glass Onion at like 3:55.
Well, I think you might be sick that day. It's you might get food poisoning on Thanksgiving, and
I gotta tell them. I gotta
and...
tell them though ahead of time because they like want to do like a whole like
I have to work
send off
Friday,
thing.
too. I have Thanksgiving off, but then I have to go back. Well, actually, I work from home that day, so I guess it's not that bad.
Yeah, why are you complaining? What?
I complain to complain, dude. You
I
give
know.
me a platform
I know.
to complain, I will do it.
I know. I've been at this company for like 6 years though, so it's just kind of like I don't know. It's a lot to take in to be leaving, but
yeah, I can imagine. It's brutal. You change jobs. It's your life, part of it. I don't know how many people you're always working with, but I mean, it must be tough to leave it.
It's like a 4 or 5 people that I know like really, really well that have been there since I got there. So company's had a lot of changes, but you know, is what it is. I will be full time at CLNS now though. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Better off.
Are we having issues with Twitch, by the way?
That's what it says.
It says that, but I saw it broadcasting. I checked it and it said it was fine. So I don't know what the exclamation point's about, but it is on Twitch. I
watch us on Twitch. What are they gonna do?
We usually have 1 or 2 there.
Really?
Not bad.
That's
good. Could be bots.
They never comment.
Well, it could.
If you're watching on Twitch, leave us a comment so I know you exist.
They're just shy. Don't
you.
pressure them into having conversation with us.
I assume it's a bot because they usually throw a bot in your Twitch stream to make you feel good.
Do they?
Hello, Matt.
That's mean.
Yeah.
That is
Matt.
mean.
Hello,
Hey.
Matt. Celtics Hawks tonight. No Marcus Smart, no Malcolm Brogdon. I'm sure Sam is seething.
I'm not thrilled. Was not thrilled to see the update today on Twitter.
Uh-huh.
I was a little busy today. I couldn't complain, even though I love to do it. But it's also tough to complain because you got to be happy they're good enough to where they can afford to rest guys. And you know this is more of a if it was the playoffs they'd be in.
Yes.
Type of
Which I'm all for it. So I think it's fine. I mean, I'd rather them be missing games in November than May. So get all the rest they can in now. Stagger it however you'd like. I mean, took a risk against the Pistons, resting that many guys, but it worked out. Jack and saying this one's not going to be pretty. I think the Celtics should be fine. I'm not going to say that they're going to win, but I don't think just because Brogdon and Smart are out, they're going to lose automatically. They still have Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. They still have 2 of the top 20 players in the NBA. They still have Derek White, Al Horford, Grant Williams, Sam Hauser. Like they still have, Peyton Pritchard, as Matt said, they still have in 7, 8, 9 man rotation that they trust. And it's not like the Hawks are like the Bucks or the that the Bucks. That's the only team I can think of that
They
would be
beat
good
them
enough
twice.
to scare me. Yeah,
do you one
sure,
better.
but what are they? 8-5 on the season. They're a good team, but this Celtics squad with Tatum and Brown should still be able to contend and go for a win.
I mean, it's another game that you want Pritchard for, right? What are the odds that you're going to have 2 of your 4 guards like out in the same evening? Like, it's just not likely. I mean, Brogdon talked about being like able to play. He was like, I'm questionable, but I'm leaning towards sitting out. If it were, a game like that mattered, I feel like he probably would have been playing, but this is more so just resting guys. I'm fine with him resting Smart too, because I feel like he's been battling a couple different things. He's been throwing his body around with reckless abandon, which is what we love him for, but sometimes it gets him hurt. So at least Pritchard's there though, right? This is what you have him for.
Big day for Pritchard. He's got all the eyes on him. He's been playing pretty well off the bench, has had 2 of his 4 games really be impactful, specifically Monday against OKC. He was part of the spark that sparked the comeback. He was excellent in the back into the third quarter, had a big steal to cap off the quarter, and then knocked down a couple of threes, I believe, in the fourth. So he was a big piece of that. I'm looking to see how he does with more minutes. He's someone, I wrote about it today on Hardwood Houdini, that is an NBA player. He is better than sitting at the end of the bench. And it's just unfortunate. There is no world where it makes sense to play him over any of the guards in front of him, the best guard rotation in the league. But that's the reality. So it's either going to have to be a trade or he's just going to be injury insurance, which is fine. And it depends what he wants. If he wants to be on a championship team, it might be worth his while to stay. But you're not really going to get much more than that.
Yeah. Pritchard should play a big role tonight behind Derek White, who is in the starting lineup. Celtics also brought up J.D. Davison from the Maine G League team, so maybe you see him. I doubt it, but it is what it is. Jackin saying Pritchard for Pirtle. I'd be fine with a trade like that. It is possible mathematically if you throw in a bunch of minimum guys. I don't know. You saw Windhorse talking about it today, which, I mean, take with that what you will. Possible, could do it. He'll be on an expiring deal. Would give you some really good backup center minutes, especially while Rob ramps back up. Pirtle's been really good this season. It would have to wait till mid-December, I believe, till someone is tradable, that sort of stuff. But an option that's been floated around in recent days. What do you guys think of Pirtle?
Good, Tim.
I like Pirtle. Again, I think there were rumors like way back when talking about trying to get him. But again, it came down to were the Spurs trying to part with him. He's going to be an unrestricted free agent this offseason. So that's another thing that you have to consider in terms of trying to trade for someone. I think he's a really solid player. I know that the Celtics way back when he was getting drafted, like he was someone that they were interested in. I don't think they were in a position to draft him that year though. But again, he's a defensive-minded center. He would make a lot of sense here. It's just a question of what does it cost besides Peyton Pritchard plus filler, and what does that filler look like? I know, Jack, we talked about it a little bit, like guys were throwing it around a little bit in the Celtics blog chat. Keith Smith shot this down before anyone suggested it. You cannot trade Danilo Gallinari in that deal, because the Spurs can't take him back because he was waived by San Antonio. I think he needs to get to another team and then either get traded again or waived. But there's like a really specific thing when it comes to players that you waive. You can't go ahead, waive a player, have him sign with the team, and then have him traded back to you. It's like he needs to be on his second team since leaving the first team. It's really complicated. But point being is that he can't be used as filler in this deal, which kind of sort of puts a dollar on that one, because it means that you're going to have to throw a bunch of guys together, which means maybe it's Pritchard, Blake Griffin, Noah Vonleh, Josh Jackson. Like it's going to be multiple contracts, which means it's probably going to be potentially another first round pick going to San Antonio. In terms of what he brings to the table, that brings your floor up a lot at the center position. And I think he's a guy that most teams, he's capable of like giving you starter minutes. So if you're really worried about Rob long term and you want to try and stagger his minutes a little bit, it makes a ton of sense. My concern again is coming down to what's the cost to acquire him outside of just, salary cap filler or whatever it's going to be for contracts, but also that draft capital. And then you have to worry about him in the offseason where you're already worried about Horford. You're already worried about Grant. If you're going to have 3 unrestricted free agents and then you have to worry about Jaylen Brown's contract next offseason, you're putting yourself in a spot right there. And if that's the case, then I don't know, maybe you're moving on from Grant, which I doubt again. So it just makes the situation more complicated unless you're willing to walk away from Al Horford, which is entirely possible in the offseason.
Well, Horford doesn't sound like he's going anywhere. I don't know if you saw him discussing his final years of his career. Says he wants to play 2 or 3 more years and seems very pleased with the situation he's in. I'm not convinced he's interested in going to play anywhere else.
Well, then if he's taking small money again, then that's fine. I mean, I think I've talked about it before. Like, I'd love it if he just signed like a super cheap deal and then just rode off into the sunset. But I don't know.
I was wrong on him the first time. I thought he'd take a pay cut the first time and then he left. So I could be very wrong, but I did see him discussing how much he likes the situation he's in, how rare it is to be on a team that's contending and that you like being a part of and you like everything that's going on with it. And he said he thinks he has 2 or 3 more years left. So that being said, it doesn't seem like he would be a flight risk. Pirtle, it does complicate things because if he likes everything about what's going on, it could mean he likes his role as a starter. I know last season he didn't really seem to want to come off the bench. It didn't seem to make a lot of sense either. But if you bring in Pirtle, it gives you some nice depth, at least until Rob comes back. And beyond that, it's definitely a good piece to have off the bench at the very least. It depends what you want to do with him. And he's someone that can help you out with your rebounding woes because every time he plays the Celtics, it seemed like he is on the offensive glass.
I will also say, by the way, Pritchard plus 3 of those minimum guys, Griffin, Vonleh, Cornette, Jackson, the money works with that. And you'd probably be looking at another pick, couple seconds, whatever. You'd have to give up the Spurs to get Pirtle. But the money is concerning from the perspective of what you said, Tim, like 3 expiring contracts. But Grant is restricted. So you could re-sign, it's all about order of operations in the NBA. You could re-sign Horford. You could re-sign Pirtle, and then go from there, and then you just match an offer Grant gets. Thank you, Deshaun.
I agree.
But
completely agree. We are far too talented to be speaking to 2 people.
All right. It's just like I appreciate the comment. It's above the frame.
No.
Sorry, continue your thoughts, Jack.
At that point, you'd have Grant Williams matched, Horford assumedly taking probably 10 to 15 a season, maybe, depending on what the exacts of that are. Pirtle maybe around the same. But more importantly, I think Pirtle would be a good person to have replace Horford because he's not going to be a starter forever. He's not going to be a rotational person forever. Pirtle is what, 26 years old? He is 27 years old. But if you're looking for a guy that can come in and guard centers so Rob doesn't have to, that's your guy, right? He's a big dude. He's strong in the paint. He's one of the better paint defenders in the NBA. He can rebound well. He gets a lot of blocks. The only issue is he's not as mobile as Horford is. He's not going to be able to stay on the perimeter as well. But that's something he can work on. He can work on the quickness, and you're not going to go out there and find just another guy who can stay, with guards and also guard the paint like Horford can. That's just not readily available. So in terms of guys who can replace him, especially for the price, if you're talking, if effectively it would be the same trade package you gave up for Malcolm Brogdon, right? For Jakob Poeltl, and maybe less. Maybe you wouldn't have to give up a first. Maybe you give up 2 seconds, or like you said in the Celtics blog chat, somebody said maybe they just loosen the protections they have on the other first that they gave up, something like that. So you figure it out from there. The Spurs are winning too much or whatever their rationale is. They want to get some value. They'd get Pritchard a good point guard since they traded DeJounte Murray. They can have him and Trey Jones run it. And I think it'd be very worth it. And I think it would set the Celtics up nicely for the future, especially past Al Horford.
It all comes down to that Al money. Like if he's actually happy here, like will he take like a super cheap or like a veteran minimum deal? Because he's made enough money at this point. He has. Plus, we all know that chocolate milk money's got to be pretty good, right? Like he's got to be making some good money off Got Milk. Like
Yeah.
that has gotten legs in like weird Celtics Twitter from like years ago. It's still got legs.
Does he even still do ads with them though?
It doesn't matter. Like this, like people are still like chocolate milk Al. Like he's having a lot of his chocolate milk. That's his secret. That's why he's so good still.
I remember the
bones.
memes from the finals. Coming off the win over the Thunder, it wasn't the prettiest win, but I think it was maybe one of the more impressive. Sam and I talked about it on the podcast, just in terms of that's a game they lose last year in the past couple of years because of the way they've collapsed. But they managed to come through. Marcus Smart, who obviously isn't playing tonight against the Hawks, came up big in the fourth quarter. Jason Tatum was all right. Jaylen Brown, I thought was not good against the Thunder, but we can talk about that too. But Peyton Pritchard, Marcus Smart, Derek White, the guard rotation really kind of brought the energy at the end there. And it was a good win. Fought through their ref frustrations, but I said this to Sam, you can get mad at the refs for the tech and you can get mad for a couple missed calls. Missed calls happens. Techs happen, but the Celtics were in that position because they put themselves in that position because they've earned a bad reputation with the refs because they've acted like assholes in the past, and that's just that they've earned it. So
a lot of throwing the hands up anytime the whistle doesn't go their way. It's really annoying to watch as a fan. Tatum, by the way, is a wager with Derek White that he will get less than 10 technicals over the course of the season. I don't know if you guys saw that on Twitter today.
Derek White's going to make a bag.
Yeah. Well, at least he's
at
trying
3
to
now,
him.
right? Because they rescinded one of them.
He's at 3.
So he's at 3.
Through
and they're
14, 15 games.
We're going on 15, so unless he gets
he's on pace
tonight,
to lose the bet.
We'll see. He's gonna rest intentionally just to avoid the techs. He's like, I'm just gonna take 10 games off. Like the math's in my favor now.
What was I saying? I don't remember. I wasn't going anywhere. Don't worry.
Okay.
No intelligent thoughts brewing.
I think with the ref situation, it's a little bit frustrating because both can be true, right? Like I think the refs have an officials problem where they're not calling the game consistently and there's zero accountability, and yet you want to ask accountability from the players. It is frustrating to see the Celtics complain and get frustrated, but it's even more frustrating when it is a bad call. They complain, the referee doubles down on it by hitting them with the technical, and then it just further compounds the issue. And then there's zero ownership from the refs after the game. There's zero ownership from the league. Like you go ahead and you make a statement for the refs basically being like, yeah, here's the respect for the game rules, where it's like, you can't go ahead and clap or throw your hands up after a play. And then you're going to go ahead and you're going to go walk back the Jason Tatum technical that you dished him for literally like zero reason. You gave him a soft technical that you had to walk back the day after. What are the repercussions for that? Because if the tech stood, it's a fine for the player. What does it do to the referee after? Because they screwed up. They made a bad call. How are you?
The official gets fined the equivalent, which is like $500 to them.
But do they actually though?
I don't know. I'm being sarcastic.
Exactly. But that's what I'm saying.
Would that be the fair thing to
accountability.
do? Because $25,000 to Jason Tatum is like $500 to the official.
They should lose it.
The officials don't get paid enough for you to fine them.
They should lose the game.
Well, I don't know about that.
Then that's like $50,000.
People make mistakes. Like if Jason Tatum misses a layup, he's not going to get benched for a game like that. That's just not really how stuff works. Like it's a job.
Yeah, but if he gets hit with like double technical, it gets tossed from a game, he's going to get fined. Like that can impact a player further. But when a referee screws up a call, there's zero repercussions. And also there's the court of public opinion where a player, if they screw up and get like some dumb calls against them, and then they say something in the media, they've got the players mad at them. They've got the fans mad at them. They're getting fined by the league for questioning the authority that is. And if the officials are wrong, there's zero repercussions. There's no recourse for that. Well, that's where I have an issue. I'm fine with holding players accountable, but it has to be both ways. You can't have it.
I think there's no public repercussions. I don't think that like behind the scenes, like
they get a slap.
Well, I think they're
they
like
get slapped by Adam Silver.
Yeah, Adam Silver puts a glove on and slaps him.
I just think that's what it is. I just think there's no public repercussions. They might get fined. They might lose a game. We just don't know about it. Like they're not going to publicize that type of stuff in the same way like people like coaches get like moved on from every season to season. We don't hear everything about that. I just think it's a matter of like I don't know. They just don't publicize that sort of stuff. And like I said, mistakes happen. But I'll tell you this. Remember when Vucevic didn't get a tech for waving his arms? That's probably because he doesn't complain every 5 calls. They've earned it. They've built this up themselves, and this is why they're getting treated, with quick responses. Look at Grant Williams. He picked up a tech in the first 5 minutes of the game because he's earned that reputation with the referees. They've earned Draymond Green level tech reputations. That's just a fact. That's what they've done because they've put themselves in that position by arguing too much.
My thought process is you have to call it within a vacuum, because you can't call it one way and then not call it the other. And granted, like, Grant earned that tech, not even considering his reputation. Like, Grant was like super aggressive with the way he was complaining, like right off the bat. He needed to cool it down. That's the way that they did it. Did it suck that he got hit with a tech early? Sure. But he definitely earned it because, again, as you said, Jack, he's continued to complain. He's continued to get hit with techs. That's not a matter of reputation. That's a matter of him just not being able to keep his composure and then getting hit with a tech that he definitely earned. I think the frustrations just boiled over for him. He's having carryover from game to game with officials where he's starting to get bothered and more annoyed with the way that games are being reffed. And so he comes in super hot in the first quarter? How many minutes in was it at that point?
It was less than like 5
Not
minutes.
a lot.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, he's coming in like super hot within the first like 6 minutes of the game. Like, yeah, you're going to get hit with a tech. I don't know, Matt, I sort of agree with this, but I think players also get hit with this. I definitely agree with that, Jack. And refs are too emotionally involved when they need to be. I think, yeah, to a degree. Grant also said that stuff and then got hit with the tech. So there's emotions on both sides. So expecting either side to not have emotions in a game is stupid. I think it was the same thing when they asked players like, hey, you can't go ahead and express frustration over a call. Or even like when Tatum got hit with the tech, he was expressing frustration after missing a shot and then got hit with the technical. So like there has to be some nuance to this. And right now there isn't a lot, or it's expected to be one way, but not the other. It's the whole situation's messy. I'm not going to sit here and try and, solve world hunger as well as the ref crisis, but I just know that whatever they're doing right now is not working.
I'll tell you what is working is the Celtics in the clutch. This season, much better than last season. Last season, you couldn't trust this team to win a game that was remotely close. Even when they were on their massive win streak at the end of the year, they weren't winning the close games. They were just kind of steamrolling whoever was in the way. And Monday night was another prime example of the leap that this team has taken over the summer. The defense might not be there, but being able to execute down the stretch is super important to winning in the playoffs and potentially a championship. This year, they're 6-2 through their first 14 games. They have had 8 of them that have been clutch, which the NBA defines as 5 points within the last 5 minutes of the game, whatever. Last season, they were like 11-23, something poor, very not impressive, not what you wanted from the Celtics last season. So, oh hey Enrico, this is very kind.
I was gonna say it was very nice. I was touched. That's why I like this. Very kind, thank you.
Is that an NFT? Is his thing?
Yeah, that is 100% an NFT. I won't comment on that, but thank you very much.
But you should be excited as a fan of this team that they are winning close games. And it's more fun to watch. No one loves a close game like I do. I do love a blowout, too. If you're going to blow out teams, please just do it and hold it long enough for me to take insurance. But as far as watching the team, I love seeing them win a close game. It's so exciting. Monday was the most exciting game of the season to me, just because I was so miserable throughout the whole 3.5 quarters or first 3 quarters of the game. And then I was thrilled. I wanted to turn the game off. And I never do that. I wanted to turn the game off. Felt like it wasn't going anywhere.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. If you still got the stats up, Jack, and I guess I would ask you to also, if they're second in the clutch this year, I would probably also ask how many clutch situations they've been in.
I think they're 6-2. 6-2. Mm-hmm.
That's the only
good. They've never lost a clutch game in regulation. The 2 losses were to Cleveland.
Oh, that sucks. Well, then that should okay. That makes me feel a lot better. I think.
Yeah,
But I'm
Yeah,
wondering
that's
how many,
fair.
like, what's the highest in the league right now in terms of clutch?
And I
games?
believe like
I can look
Denver
right
was
now.
above them, and another team was above them the last time I looked, and they were both 4-0. So the Celtics have doubled the sample size.
They've played the 10th most clutch games. Dallas has played the most with 11, and they're in first. So Celtics are only 3 games behind them. Best win percentage. The Nuggets and Bucks are both 4-0, and then it's the Celtics who are 6-2. So they've won, and they've won the second most clutch games. Dallas is 7-4. Boston is 6-2.
Okay.
So
That's an interesting stat. Thank you for bringing that up, Jackin.
only one team is winless in the clutch this season, and it is Chicago. They are
Really?
0-6.
Enrico, interesting.
I'm planning on going to Boston with a couple friends for a month to watch the Celtics in the playoffs. Recommendations, and would you say that a whole month is too long? If you get like an Airbnb and you can afford it, then it's fine. It's just like finding a place that's reasonably
Where are you
priced to
from?
stay for a month.
Groceries, stuff, that kind of thing. Probably want to figure out if you're staying for that long. My recommendation too is like if you've never been to Boston, see what else you can do. Obviously, if you're going to be chilling and just watching the games versus like going to them, if you're going to games, then like that's going to be expensive. If you're like going out to bars though, that might be more affordable, so that's not bad. I think bar atmosphere in Boston would be cool. My recommendation, if you've never been to Boston, maybe like try and see some of the landmarks that are around there. There's the Freedom Trail. If you want to, try and go to a game at Fenway Park or see if you can go to a tour or something. That'd be kind of cool.
Duck tours are fun.
Duck tours,
never done
yeah,
a
the
duck
duck
tour.
boats. You've never done a duck
Never
boat?
done a duck tour?
No, never
What?
did.
They're fun. I mean, last
Well,
time I went was like 12 years ago, but like
Yeah,
they were
but-
fun. I remember them as being fun. Gone on a handful at this point. I know people used to actually work that gig. I don't think they drove the duck boat, but they like were the tour guides.
Still fun. Children's Museum,
Yes, or the
Voted.
Museum of Science. I love the Museum of Science.
both very fun.
Yes, I concur.
Woj just said this on ESPN. I mean, I'm not too shocked, but it's interesting that it's
Hashtag breaking.
there you go.
But
I
that's
feel
good.
like we
Good
talked
for him,
about
man.
this though. We talked about this, right? Like if they
Well, he
started
just
out
said
hot,
this today, yeah. So
if they started out hot, like there was no way that Ime Udoka was. It was already. It was an uphill battle for Ime Udoka to return as Celtics head coach. But if they were going to come out hot out the gate like they did, where all of a sudden they're looking at what 11-3 now going into this matchup, they've won
best team in the
7 straight.
NBA.
Best team in the NBA, best offense in the NBA. Their defense is
Ever.
slowly improving.
best offense ever.
I want to see if they keep that pace because, like, that's insane. But as of right now, like, insane offensive rating. This doesn't surprise me at all. I feel like it didn't need to be said, but the fact that Woj is saying it means that, yeah, okay, Joe Mazzulla is going to be the head coach of the Celtics. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. So interesting, very interesting that they came out now.
Go ahead, Sam.
Get the pick, Sam.
Pick of the night presented by Smash the Odds at Smash Odds on Twitter. You can follow them for daily free picks. You can also pay for the premium service. They had a very good night yesterday. Would have put you up, I think, 3 3/4 units or something like that. Very good night for them. Tonight's free pick: Houston plus 6.5. My pick: Peyton Pritchard over 1.5 threes. That is plus money for you. Plus 114 for those Pritchard threes. Jack, any pick?
Grant Williams over 1.5 threes is also plus money for you. I'll give you that. I'll also go Derek White over 12.5 points. I feel like he'll probably get that. It's not plus money, but still. Enrico said it would cost around $3,000 to $4,000 for everything, which isn't too bad. And yes, thanks for the recommendation. I hope they do make it to the finals too.
Don't we all? No, I mean that's fair. That's cool, man. Enrico, whenever you do, I hope you enjoy your time. That's pretty awesome.
It's nice
Yes,
that
sir.
time of year too. You won't be cold. Nice weather.
Yes.
And walk around outside and enjoy the city.
100%. Anything else you guys want to say before we get out of here?
No, I don't have anything good today.
I got nothing.
Alrighty. Well, in that case, thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate it. You guys can check us all out on Twitter. Those ats are below our faces. Check out the How About Them Celtics podcast and all podcast platforms, and on YouTube. Head over to that YouTube channel, How About Them Celtics podcast. Subscribe to there. We're gonna try to push towards 1,000. That's when we can get monetized. We're ways away, but the more of you that go subscribe to How About Them Celtics podcast on YouTube, the more that it helps. Check us out on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter as well at How About Them C's. And yeah, this has been the Bannertown Build-Up. We are here 30 minutes before every Celtics game, and we will see you guys